Hi friends, Taffy here. So today's video, well, first of all, I want to apologize for not putting a video out last weekend. After the convention, I got really sick, so I wasn't up to do it. So I sincerely apologize. The video I'm doing this week is more on the serious level, and it's a subject that really hits me hard. It's about bullying. My oldest daughter, when she was in elementary school, beautiful. She was popular, she had friends, and one of her little guy friends started picking on her at school. And she'd come home crying, saying, "Mama, you know, my friend is hitting me. He's being really mean." And it got to where she didn't want to go to school because of it. So I went to the school many times. And the principal's like, "Well, yeah, I'll deal with it. But she didn't. And it got worse. So I show up at the school to pick her up after school, and the front lobby was just, it was craziness. Kids, parents, teachers. So I saw the principal come out of her office, and my daughter standing there crying, and said that this friend of hers punched her in the back. So I kind of lifted her shirt a little bit where he had hit her, and sure enough, she had a bruise. So when I saw the principal come out of the office, I said, "Honey, right there is the principal. You need to go tell her." So I kind of stand back, you know, to let my daughter deal with it. She walks up to the principal. And, okay, mind you, this is a very small school. And, sorry, I'm shedding. So she goes up to the principal and, you know, says, you know, "Excuse me, I need to tell you something." The principal turns around to her, and so she starts to tell the principal that, you know, this friend, I'm not going to name names, this friend of hers has been picking on her, bullying her, being really mean, and started hitting her. And the principal grabbed my daughter by the arm and started shaking her, saying, "I can't do nothing about it right now. You know, there's too much going on. You need to tell me about it when it happens, not after the fact. So there's nothing I can do about it. Just go home." I'm standing there watching this whole thing take place. I was pissed. So I walk over to the principal, and I got in her face, and I said, you know, I should press charges. You know, for one, you don't put your hands on my daughter. Two, my daughter come to you because this kid is getting physically abusive to my daughter. Not okay. So the principal's like, "Okay, well, come in my office in the morning and we'll deal with it." Okay. So the next morning, my daughter and I go in the office to talk to the principal, and she calls the boy in. Before the boy gets in there, she says, "Don't say a word to him. Let me deal with it." And so I'm sitting there trying not to say anything, and she's reaming this kid. I mean, just being kind of mean, saying, you know, "What is wrong with you, blah, blah, blah," you know. And I'm like, "Excuse me. Whoa, wait a minute. I mean, these are elementary school kids. This is not how you deal with it, you know, by bullying him." So, you know, she's trying to shut me up, and I'm not going to keep quiet. I'm not going to shut up. And so I turned to the boy and I said, "You know, just this my daughter is trying to be your friend. You know, the kid in the first place didn't have a lot of friends. So my daughter's trying to be your friend. Has she ever done anything to you to hurt you or upset you? No, no, no. Okay, well, this is not how it's done. You don't treat people that care about you this way. And the whole time he's looking down at the ground, and I try not to say names. I said, look at me, please. Please look at me. So he looks up at me. And I said, you know, if you need help with anything, or you need somebody to talk to, you need a friend, go to my daughter. You know, she's intelligent, she's a good friend, she's a good listener. If you need more help than from another kid, come to me. You know, we can deal with these things. And so I stayed around school. I was a parent volunteer. I was at the school several times a week volunteering. And come lunchtime, I decided to stay and have lunch with my daughter. Well, the boy comes over and he sits down in front of us and he puts his head down on the table. And I'm like, where's your lunch? Aren't you going to eat? And he was crying. And he said, they won't let me have anything to eat because I have a lunch bill that my dad hasn't paid. That made me mad. And so the more I talked to this kid, the more I saw the picture as to why this kid is doing this. His mother had passed away that year. And his dad was medicating with alcohol. So the kids were being neglected, abused. And it broke my heart. So I reach in my pocket and I give him $5. I said, here, go get a lunch. I'm not going to sit here and eat in front of you. And he's like, really? Why would you do that after what I did? Well, you're a kid. You know, there's reasons. You know, I like you. My daughter likes you. Two wrongs don't make a right. You know, by me being mean to you is not going to fix the situation. And he started crying and said, thank you. Well, he went and he got a lunch. After that, my daughter had no more problems with the boy. And they became really good friends. So, come middle school, you know, she didn't really have any friends except this boy. Well, things got worse for the boy. He was put in foster care and ended up moving away. So then my daughter ends up with no friends. And she's getting bullied and picked on. Not just by other girls, but also by boys. She would come home every day not wanting to go to school the next day. And saying stuff that she hated herself and she didn't want to live anymore. And it broke my heart. So, you know, I started going to the school every day and complaining that these kids are picking on my daughter. And so they're like, well, we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it. They never dealt with it. Nothing ever happened. And it got worse and got worse and got worse. Excuse me. So, one day she was at lunchtime, she was sitting on the ground outside, and these two boys that picked on her daily started tormenting her, calling her fat, calling her ugly, calling her a lesbian, and Why don't you kill yourself? Because nobody likes you. The world would be a better place without you in it. And I mean, just mean stuff. And let me back up a little bit. I told her, since the school's not going to do anything about it, fight back. You know, if they're doing stuff to you, do it back. I don't know what else to do. I probably shouldn't have told her that, but we were frustrated. Nothing was being done. So she snapped. She had had enough. You know, they started throwing bark dust in her face. So she got up and started chasing these boys. She was able to catch one of them, and she grabbed him, got him to the ground, sat on him, and started hitting him, screaming at him, just leave me alone, leave me alone. Because, I mean, she had told him that before, and he wouldn't leave her alone. She was caught. They caught her. The principal saw what she was doing and pulled her off of the boy. And took her in the office, called me, and said, you need to come in right now. So I go in, and he's like, well, the parents of this boy wants your daughter arrested. They want to press charges. I'm arguing with them. You know, how many times have I been at this school? How many times have you told me that it would be taken care of, and nothing's ever been done? I said, how much torture does one person need to go through before they snap? She snapped, you know. Nobody likes getting bark dust thrown in their face. Nobody likes to be called names. Nobody likes to be told to go kill themselves. And I told him, I said, you want to press charges? Go right ahead. I will get a lawyer, and I will fight you. I will fight you. Because this is not right. You know, 2 boys tormenting 1 girl. And so they dropped the whole, you know, pressing charges, but they threatened, you know, well, your daughter's going to go to juvie, and, you know, we're going to kick her out of school, all this stuff. Well, she wasn't arrested. They didn't kick her out, but she got detention. And, you know, but the boys left her alone after that. They didn't bother her. But then there's another group of kids that start in on her. I got a call from the school counselor saying you need to come to the school now, right now. This is urgent. So I drop everything, I go to school. My daughter's sitting out in the hallway, not looking at anybody. She didn't even acknowledge me. She's looking down. So I go in, and the school counselor says, well, you know, okay, your daughter, she said, it took me 2 hours to get this out of your daughter. But your daughter is planning on going home today after school and hanging herself. She wants to die. And she has a plan. She has it all written out. And what's going on. So I filled her in on these kids bullying her and how she just can't take it anymore. And so, you know, she gave me flyers and all this information about getting my daughter some psychiatric help because she was suicidal. I also found out that my daughter had started cutting herself. And no parent wants to hear that their child is planning on committing suicide. Nobody wants to know that their child is taking razor blades and pins and anything sharp and cutting themselves because it makes them feel better. So the same day I go home, And I start making phone calls. Well, we found a great, child psychiatrist, and got her in immediately. And so she started seeing a psychiatrist once a month. And I went with her. Every appointment, I went with her because I needed help as well dealing with my child wants to die. So, they really helped me out. They helped me understand why she cuts. And they helped me learn how to help her when she gets in that frame of mind that she wants to kill herself or that she needs to cut herself to feel better. Excuse me. Not only was she seeing a psychiatrist once a month, but she started seeing a counselor every week, once a week. And there were some days she'd go in alone, and there were some days that I went in with her. And that was hell. That was hell. But I was willing to do anything and everything I could to help my child live her life. So, by the time she got into high school, that's another thing, the school got her into a mentoring program where she was matched with an adult that volunteered to come to the school and have lunch with my daughter once a week. And my daughter absolutely fell in love with this woman. And this woman, I don't know by what miracle, but it was a perfect match. She helped my daughter more than I did, more than I could. She got really close with this woman. And at the end of the year, when the mentor program was ending, my daughter got suicidal again, very devastated. She was depressed. She didn't want to lose this lady. And so I go to the school to find out how can we keep this woman in my daughter's life, because she helps her. And so they hooked me up with a after-school mentor program. And they said it's up to this woman if she wants to continue. So they approached her with it and asked her, and she was so happy because she absolutely loved my daughter. And so we did that, and so my daughter still got to see this lady every week. And, but anyway, I was absolutely terrified when my daughter started going to high school. I thought this was going to be the end of my daughter. Because I thought, okay, middle school's bad, high school's going to be worse. Kids are mean. And so I was absolutely terrified. I was afraid to go into my daughter's room every day. I was afraid for when she came home from school, what terror stories am I going to hear from her today? And it killed me to watch my daughter cry and feel like nobody liked her. And it really killed me when my daughter said, "Mama, I don't want to live anymore. I want to die because nobody likes me." So, excuse me, high school started. She started high school, and I dreaded the first day of high school. And, I couldn't do nothing that day. I sat right by the phone with the phone in my hand waiting for the school to call me. School let out. She comes home. I'm standing out the road waiting for the bus to drop her off, which they dropped them off down the road. I saw my daughter dancing all down the road. And I'm like, who is this? And where's my daughter? You know, usually when she came home, she'd walk with her head down. You know, I meet up with her in the road, and we walk in the house. And I was afraid to ask her, but I asked her anyway. I said, honey, how was your day? Mama, I love high school, and the kids are so nice. And before school had even started, I had gone to the principal and the school counselor and kind of told them the problems she was having in middle school and asked them to kind of keep an eye on her because she is very suicidal. And so anyway, they kind of knew a little bit. And but she said the kids are great. They're so nice. I even made a couple friends today. Awesome. I couldn't have been happier. And I was still worried. You know, I still had that fear that, okay, this is just temporary and it's going to start up. So the whole week goes by, and every day she come home smiling, dancing, and just happy. And I mean, she was a completely different kid. She would come out of her room and join in the family a lot more. And to hear her laugh, that was the most amazing sound, was to hear my daughter laugh. So anyway, the school had told me that they do not tolerate bullying, and that they even have programs to, you know, kind of teach the kids, you know, if you're being bullied, this is what you need to do. And then the child that's bullying will be punished. Well, my daughter, she had one issue her first year of high school. There was a boy in the classroom that was picking on her. And my daughter, she was so excited. She said, Mom, the most popular girl in school came to my defense. She defended me against this boy. And so they became friends, her and this girl. Not outside of school, but at school, you know, this girl would talk to her and kind of keep an eye on her and whatnot. Oh my gosh. I was so relieved that finally, you know, she's able to go through school without coming home every day crying that somebody told her to kill herself. There was still bullying going on in the school, but not toward my daughter. They stuck her in a class for troubled kids, and she thought the teacher was actually the football coach, and he was a big guy, very intimidating looking, and you know, during the first parent-teacher conferences, you know, he asked my daughter to go do something else so that he could talk to me in private. And he told me how smart and how lovely my daughter was and what a joy to have in the classroom. But he says, I think that she thinks I'm picking on her. He says, I'm really not. I'm trying to help bring her out of her shell because she is so smart. So smart. She's a joy to have in my class. And I see her potential, and I'm trying to, you know, push her on that. And I admitted to him, I said, yeah, she says that you're really mean and that you target her and pick on her. And he goes, no, I adore your daughter. And he says, I am not picking on her. I just know how smart she is, and I'm trying to get her to come out of her shell. And so, you know, after the conference, I explained to my daughter, I said, he really likes you. And the reason he's always calling on you in class is because he says you're so smart. So she was excited that her teacher likes her. And, you know, over the next couple months, she completely changed. She'd come home, you know, just saying, you know, how her and Mr. Bassard would joke around. And she got really close to this teacher. And, you know, they got along great. And her grades improved and whatnot. But, you know, back to the bullying. My daughter went through this fashion phase a lot of kids will go through. And it started when she was suicidal, when she was depressed. She became emo. You know, she dyed her hair black, wore black eyeshadow, black lipstick, and, you know, she also absolutely fell in love with the gothic Lolita fashion. And we got her this beautiful gothic Lolita dress. And I was scared for her to wear it to school. She wanted to wear it to school. And I told her, basically, you're asking to be bullied because this is not what people wear around here. In Japan, yeah. Here, oh, you know, I've never, you know, not told my daughter, oh, you can't wear that. My daughter is very modest. She doesn't, you know, like skin to show. She likes to stay hidden. And that drove me crazy. 80 degrees outside and she's wearing a sweatshirt. But anyway, she wanted to wear her gothic Lolita dress to school. And I tried. I didn't tell her, no, you cannot wear that. I just explained to her, you know, that is something you're giving the kids ammunition to pick on you. At this point, Mom, I don't care. I want to wear my dress. Okay. But, you know, expect the kids to make fun of you. So she wore it. And when she got home, I asked her, well, how'd it go? Mom, everybody loved my dress. She said, I got so many compliments on it. Yay. You know, the school is doing something right because she went from being bullied every day from almost every kid in the school to, you know, now she's in high school and she's making friends and nobody's picking on her. And she can wear whatever she wants and nobody's going to make fun of her. And so I was really happy. I was relieved. And so it got to where I wasn't so worried about her. But she's still in therapy. She's still seeing the psychiatrist. She's still seeing the counselors. You know, because it helped. It really helped. And so on that note, for the parents that might watch this video, if your kid is acting depressed or saying that they're being picked on at school, fight for your kid. Do what you have to do. Do whatever it takes to help your kid. It might save their life. You know, if they need to see a counselor or psychiatrist, get them in there. You know, if you know the kid that's picking on your kid, talk to that kid. Find out why is he doing this to your child. And, you know, don't be mean. You know, talk to them as if they're your child and say, what can I do to help? You know, making threats or being mean doesn't work. You know, you gotta approach it open-minded, you know, with love and compassion. For the kids that may watch this video, if you're bullying other kids, stop and think about how this kid is feeling and put yourself in their shoes. Think about, what if this was happening to me? If you're picking on other kids because things are not good at home, go to an adult at school. There's always somebody that can help you. Don't pick on other kids because you're messing with somebody's life. There have been so many kids that have committed suicide because of being bullied. When I was in middle school, I got bullied. I helped myself get out of it. I looked for the two biggest, baddest, toughest looking girls at school, and I became friends with them. They were my bodyguards. And I quit getting picked on. I quit getting thrown in the garbage, and I made more friends. And the bullying stopped. Or stand up for yourself. Maybe ask your bully, what did I do to you? Or, is there something going on at home that maybe I can help you with? Or, there's always a solution. If you see somebody being bullied, step in. Don't get involved in, oh, this guy's bullying this guy, so I'm going to bully this guy too because it makes me look cool. No, it doesn't make you look cool. It makes you look like an ass. This whole bullying stuff is so bad. And, we really need to do something about it. So many kids are taking their own lives. My other daughter, there was a girl in another school, and this was just a few years ago. There was another girl at another school that was being bullied, and she threw herself in front of a train, killed herself. And then there was another girl that hung herself in a tree at the park. It doesn't just hurt the child that kills themselves. It hurts their loved ones. It hurts their parents. It hurts their grandparents. It hurts the community. And is it really worth it to hurt somebody? No. It just makes you look a fool, like an ass. And in the long run, it'll catch up to you. I remember watching a documentary on this girl named Amanda Todd. That really crushed me to watch what that poor girl went through. These are kids. They shouldn't be killing themselves, Show some love. Show some compassion. If you're a kid and you're being bullied and you need somewhere to turn, somebody to talk to, feel free to drop me a message. I'll be happy to talk to you. Parents, same thing. If you need somebody to talk to that's been through this, feel free to message me. And if you're a bully and you're picking on people, really think about what you're doing to people's lives, because it's not just the person you're picking on. It's a lot of people that you're hurting. If it makes you feel better about yourself to hurt someone, find other ways to make yourself feel better about yourself. Bullying is not okay. It's not okay in any way. You're destroying lives. And, think about when you grow up, become an adult, start having children, how are you going to feel when your child comes home because, devastated or kills themselves or, depressed and, their lives are going downhill? How are you going to feel when this is happening to your kid? It doesn't feel good. It hurts. It hurts deeply. and it leaves horrible scars, worse scars than physical scars. Please stop the bullying and, find somebody to talk to. Talk to the people you're bullying. They're probably wonderful, great kids that would, do anything for you. Look for solutions. Find other ways to cope. Like I said, feel free to message me. I'd be happy to talk to you. And on that note, sorry for the emotional seriousness of this video. It's been weighing on me very heavily today. And I needed to get it out there. Total change here. On my last video, I introduced you to my friend Sarah Newton Lemos. She is a psychic medium, and I was a skeptic when I met her. After she did a reading for me, I was a complete believer. You can find her on Facebook. She's absolutely amazing. Amazing. I love her dearly. So check her out. I'll post a link to her Facebook page in the description. And I also wanted to let you guys know that coming up here in a couple weeks, I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. And we got a convention coming up called the Walker Stalker Con. I will be going to the Walker Stalker Con as a zombie Taffy. And I'm going to have a photo op with the guy that plays Jesus. His name is Tom Payne. And so I will be getting lots and lots of video from that convention. So watch for it and see Taffy meets Jesus. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Help me out here. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And on that note, Taffy's word of the day. You guessed it. It's never gonna change. Well, it might, but Taffy's word of the day is moist. Alright, guys. Have a great night and happy nightmares.